Today in the shed, it's all about rear ends and what we're going to do to transform this one. So here we are. This is the GD light, or lights that are supposed to, well, that originally came in this body style, which is the last of these shaped cars, I believe. And that's how they'd sit in there like that. And then there's obviously the other one in the other side, but then there's another chrome or stainless steel mold piece that would go across all the way across here. And then this would be like blacked out in the center. I'll put a photo up of one that looks like that. But that's not what is going to be going on with this car. We're going to fit in some of these, which, as per the wrecker writing on the back of them, these are GC, so earlier model taillights, and quite a bit bigger. But the beauty of these ones, aside from the fact that we're going to modify the car to make them fit, is that this area in the middle here, this will be body colour, and it'll have a nice section in the back that's going to break up the look of the two taillights. So there'll be one of these over here, another one over there. So the general plan of attack here is need to get these holes where this taillight mounts up to work here, and then obviously remove some metal on both sides and just see where it takes us. I haven't done this before, not on one of these anyway, but it looks fairly straightforward. I also noticed now that there's some damage down here. Just here, might be hard to see, but this is a little bit pushed in, and that's not a factory weld either. So I'd say that this has had a hit on the rear bar, which mounts into these holes at some stage, and it's just pushed that in slightly. So while we're mucking around back here, I'll have a go. Well, I'll tidy that up, neaten that up and pull that out and continue on. One thing of interest I just noticed is this is actually a trailer plug loom. When I picked this car up off the nice fellow, it came with a tow bar, which I left behind because we don't need a tow bar here. But the tow bar wasn't fitted to the car, but not when I got it. But obviously it was in the past, because you can see with these Scotch locks, someone's spliced in the trailer plug wiring, so that we'll get rid of that at the same time. We're not going to be needing that in the future. But interestingly, just some of the cars that people fit trailers to. I wouldn't want to tow anything with something like this, that's for sure. All right, so just for a laugh, I've cut the hole out and fitted in the GC taillight, and this is the GD taillight, albeit this is the opposite one. This one's supposed to be over there, and the right-hand one's on the parts shelf, but you get the idea. Not quite as simple as I was hoping, actually. The way that the lights mount I'm gonna have to, I've cut a hole, I've cut the hole to get these in there, but there's these GC ones, they sit out quite a bit more. The rear panel's different between GC and GD, as someone actually pointed out in the comments on a previous video, but this outer piece here, which pushes on from the outside, it normally sits proud. And there's normally a raised bit here and a raised bit to keep that in the correct orientation. So I think, I think it should look the same. I mean, experts are always going to notice the difference, but you know, once I fill these two holes in and these two holes in, there's normally a little detail that goes around there where it sort of comes out, but I don't actually think it comes out. I think the rest of it goes in to mount these, to make mounting these lights up so they sit flush. I've had to cut out holes for the whole body to go through, which isn't what I was expecting. I thought they'd sit up the same as these ones, but they don't. But that's not a problem. I'll just, on the inside, I'll weld some, make up some tabs and weld them in, and they'll hold this up in position and sandwich the taillights in from the other side. But so far, it's definitely doable. Continue on with it. Well, that was interesting. I got the tail light in and I was celebrating because it was quite a bit easier than I'd anticipated. Just earlier I was saying I was going to need to make up a piece that went inside, like a support bracket sort of thing, but I realized I didn't need to do that. All I needed to do was to put something on to locate the light so it wouldn't move around, and it was as simple as just a regular washer. So I've just welded a washer in there, and that's now located the light, which is, it looks great. It's in perfect position, as near as I can tell. If you look at the gap to the body line, that's what I was trying to reference. I was trying to get it centered within that because it's the same profile. So I was really happy with that, and I was celebrating. Then I stood back and had a look at it and noticed that there was a dip here, and what had happened is when I was welding up these holes, because you can see there's two holes here, there's two holes here. When I was welding them up, the heat has pulled this down here. It sort of sucked it down, and so I got it right now. It's straight now, so I'm okay, but it just goes to show you got to be really careful. So you can see the nice even line there. You got to be careful when you cut and weld. It's thin metal here, and there's no real support. There's no structure on that gutter there. It's just literally a fold here and a fold there, and it's a single piece of metal. So I'm glad I caught it now and not later on anyway. So it'll be something to keep in mind when I do this side. which is next up. So that's both sides cut out and tidied up. Just had to fill in the holes that are going to be visible. And it all worked out pretty good. There's still a little bit of weirdness going on. Like I said before, it's taken a hit. I think on this bumper bar here, very small, but this bit here was pushed in, and I hammer and dollied it back out, and this bit here now matches the other bit on the other side, so I think that bit's okay, but there's still some weirdness going on down here. I think they call it the roll pan. It's or the beaver panel. It's just a little bit of a different shape. I'm not sure if it's easy to pick up, but I'm going to have to take some measurements, and I think there's a bit of work to be done here just to sort of bring this out a little bit so that when the bar's on there, the bar sits straight and equal the whole way around. But now I'll just fit up the tail lights and see how she looks with a new rear end. Well, that's a wrap. To be honest, up until about 2 hours ago, I wasn't even sure if this was the right decision. And it wasn't my choice. But I kept asking, are you sure? And it's definitely the right call. These look great, really sporty. I think with the body colour in the middle here, with all of this being plain, and with these taillights pushed right up against the rear, and with when the boot's going to close and it's going to sit along here too, I think the whole thing's going to look really slick and smooth. And yeah, it's definitely the right call. It looks terrific. All right, well, it was probably easier than I thought it was going to be in some ways, and then harder in other ways, but it goes like that sometimes. But thanks for watching. Next time round, it'll be, I think, more rust repairs. I think I've got to repair the rust on the bonnet still. There's some work down there on the sill panels to tidy them up, but we'll see you then. Thanks.